What happens when diesel engines die? Well, this happens. The hydrogen hiace. This is powered by a twin-turbo 3.5 litre V6, but instead of pumping petrol through its mechanical veins, it pumps hydrogen. So the only tailpipe emission is water. This is part of a world-first pilot project, and we've been lucky enough to have a bit of a poke around inside, and yes, we even drove it. So it looks pretty conventional, although you do have this extra little display here, which has a whole bunch of hydrogen parameters, plus there's the cutoff switch in case everything goes pear-shaped, and we can't tell you what it drives like just yet. That's going to happen soon, but we can tell you it's a fascinating technology. You fuel it up in about 5 minutes, and then the V6 engine, which is from a Lexus LX 600, features very basic upgrades. We're talking fuel injectors and fuel mapping, and that could be the future.
Diesel engine is known for its low down torque, etc. This is a spark ignition engine, and to get high torque you used to have very high compressions, but you can't get diesel type compressions, can you, with hydrogen?
You can't quite get to diesel compression ratios. You can get closer than you might think, certainly more than a gasoline engine, but a lot of it, we've matched the torque curve of our diesel engine. So first and foremost, you can overlay the torque curve of our hydrogen engine and our diesel engine, and they're line on line.
And how different are the revs at that power?
Exactly the same.
Are they?
Yeah,
so this is just revs to 2.5?
So 2,200 RPM, peak
Good
power,
Lord.
peak torque at 1,200 RPM,
Good Lord.
440 Newton meters, 1,200 RPM, just off idle. Lots of torque. You need that when you're pushing into the, yourself, when you're rehandling on a farm. You need lots of shove, lots of grunt.
Oh, really? So we're not going to notice the difference? We're not from torque point of view?
The only difference you'll notice is a bit quieter.
Right, I suppose so.
I think is a great thing.
Yeah.
So first key technical challenge is getting the mixing right, and like I said, we've really obsessed about that. The next key technical challenge is an enabler really to that mixing. You mentioned about how lean you need to run it, so now we need to get much more air into the engine. So we've had to really develop the turbocharger, and what you will see on this engine is quite a small turbocharger, but it spins very, very high speed. It's low inertia, so it gets lots of air into the engine really quickly.
Oh, right.
So you don't get that turbo lag that you've got on the old 911 turbo type scenario. It's a small, low inertia, high speed turbo, drives lots of air in very, very quickly.
So, sorry, are you working at higher boost pressures than perhaps you would on a diesel?
Higher boost pressures.
By a factor of what?
Let's say several times.
Several times?
Yeah, several times.
Oh, really?
So we're pushing more air through than a diesel engine. So, third challenge is all about combustion. So a diesel engine, it's all about compression, ignition. You squash that mixture, you get it very hot, very high pressure. This is different. It's much lower pressure, so you don't get that auto ignition. You now have to ignite it with a spark plug. So we're taking the diesel injectors out. That's great, we don't need those anymore. We've got the hydrogen injectors to get the hydrogen in, and then where the diesel injectors would have gone, we've put a spark plug in that place, and that ignites that hydrogen and air mixture, the oxygen, and gives us that H2O, and it releases the power from that hydrogen, the stored energy to give us the power in the combustion.
Australian news today, a man has escaped a crocodile attack by biting the crocodile.
Okay, Australia, listen, we have to have a conversation.